Welcome to Digital Dust, The Man Will Talk, Episode 4. This is the podcast where we break down each episode of HBO Max's 4-part documentary series all about Burning Man, The Man Will Burn. Now, if you've been following along this far, you'll know that BurnerSphere, formerly BRCBR, features very prominently in this documentary, and that's where we are right now. It's the virtual Burning Man experience that lets you explore the art, culture, and community of Burning Man all year long from your Mac, your PC, or in a VR headset. And we invite you to come on in. If you haven't had the chance to experience BurnerSphere, it's very easy. Just go to burnersphere.com to get started. Enter the code Digital Dust. That code will unlock everything we have to offer in here, and that code is good until Burning Man starts this year. So if you'd like to see many of the art installations featured in the HBO series and actually dive deeper and meet the artists behind them, come join us and play here in our Digital Dust in BurnerSphere. Now, tonight we are breaking down Episode 4, Mud Burn. In this episode, we follow our main characters back to the playa for what we already know will be one of the most challenging years Burning Man has ever faced in terms of weather. We want to be clear, we are not a part of HBO or this documentary series or the Burning Man project, so all the opinions stated here are ours and ours alone. Spoiler ahead for HBO Max's The Man Will Burn Episode 4. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it, come back. I am Justin Gunn, aka Just Justin, a producer in BurnerSphere, along with BurnerSphere BRCBR co-founders Athena Demos and Doug Jacobson. And of course, we're joined as always by our very special colleague who happens to be one of the big stars of the series, BurnerSphere's own Lindsay Handren. All right.
What up?
Of course, here we are. This is the last episode of the series, and really all about the big drama of the big dramatic year, the Mud Burn. So when we open up on this episode, we first meet, we catch up with Marion in San Francisco. She's heading out to the playa. There's rumors that foul weather is potentially on the horizon. It's a stressful moment. I thought it was interesting that she actually got in her van and packed up and headed out as the sun was setting. That's a brave move.
Well, I'm confused because they showed that there was rain out there. So it must have been rain during build.
Yeah, remember?
There was rain during build, yeah.
And then it dried out.
And then it dried out. Exactly. So it was definitely rain during build. But I love the stress was already on. And how bizarre, we got hit by a hurricane. Like, it's just sort of a quick little thing, quick little byline in the video where it's like Burning Man gets hit by Hurricane Hillary. And then they just move on. It's like, that's a serious environmental story right there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure this year will be really smooth.
Yes, exactly. It's always hard. That's the reality. Burning Man is always hard. It's just a question of how is it going to be hard this time. A new challenge awaits burners as they are approaching Burning Man. There are climate protesters that are out on the highway, and they have shut down this 2-lane road. So everyone's just completely backed up on what's like a 2-lane, 70-mile-long highway. And so before Burning Man really even gets started in earnest, there's already issues going on. And the rumors are flying, right? Because people think that Burning Man called the feds on the protesters and everybody's mad.
I remember seeing the footage of the cops running over the protester stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the protesters, how long they thought they were going to clog up this road and, stop Burning Man before the cops were like, you know what? Never mind. Can't clog a road. But they got their media cycle out of it, which is what they wanted, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
They got the
they did. It was all over the media.
But it was so quickly
They
forgotten.
got a double media cycle because they also ended up in the documentary.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And of all the things to protest, like Burning Man is 8 days. Why don't you go protest in front of a factory that's polluting nonstop 24/7, 365?
Right.
Like, it's like Burning Man is like this little.
Well, it's
80,000
also
people.
it's also ironic that they were a climate protest and we got a climate disaster a
Yes.
few
Yes,
days
it is,
later.
isn't it?
So they're
Maybe we
such
should
an
have listened
impressive.
to them.
Maybe we should have
Yeah,
listened.
good
Maybe
point.
they knew something we didn't, right?
Yeah,
Funny.
exactly.
So this final episode starts out with a little bit of a slower pace, and we get to spend some time learning about what it's like in camp, camp life. And so we first meet Marion as she arrives at first camp, which is Burning Man's the sort of the org's camp right there, where some important people stay there as well, like Sergey Brin, and we see Sergey Brin working in the kitchen, and it really sort of brings out this notion. And there's a couple of camps that we bounce around and we see people setting up that it takes a lot of work to set up a theme camp, even just a regular camp, just infrastructure, let alone
Yeah.
a theme camp where you're offering, spectacle or services or whatever it might be. And so it's really all hands on deck just to get stuff pitched in.
Yeah.
So we start to see this sense of community being documented, which I thought was great.
Well, I thought it was a refreshing portrayal of a billionaire.
Yes.
It wasn't a weird robot-y,
Yes.
weird guy. He was cooking for everybody, and throughout the
Yeah.
episode, he's
Yeah.
there hanging out, and he's trying to solve problems with Marion, and
Yeah.
he's part of the team, and you can see
Yeah.
he's engaged and like a normal person, which is very
Refreshing.
impressed. Yeah,
It is
very
refreshing.
refreshing to see Sergey
Yeah.
act like that. Not because both, a lot of the rich people in the talk, some of them do act a little strange, but this one did not. Farhad
Yeah,
was
and it
also
was
Yeah,
a great
just a
example of really
person.
showing
Farhad
how
also
everybody
is
contributes.
yeah,
is
Farhad
a
was
Down to
also
earth.
very
straight shooter, down to earth. Exactly. There with
Yeah.
everyone. Wants his kids to really understand why this community is so beautiful.
And we
Yeah.
meet
yeah.
Marion's Uncle Phil.
I love
Uncle
Yes,
him.
we meet Uncle Phil, and
Phil.
he pops up throughout this episode. We'll kind of
Yeah,
come back
he's
to
like
him.
comic relief.
He is
You're
comic
great, you're
relief.
amazing, and she's like sitting there going, I don't think I feel that way, but okay.
Yeah,
You're
well,
a
everybody's always
firework.
harping
She's
on
like,
Marion, right?
you're the
Thanks to Disney.
firework.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we don't need fireworks. You're the firework.
Right.
So we see everybody pitching in, everybody coming together. We really get a sense of the work ethic and the sense of community that it takes to put on a camp, and then indeed, this entire event. So as part of this community exploration of what it takes to build Burning Man, we also dive into the subject of kids at Burning Man, and we meet kids at Burning Man, and we hear from parents talking about wanting to share this experience with their kids. And for outsiders, it might seem like a weird thing. Like, wait, you're taking your kids to like some debaucherous
Yeah.
bacchanal. But kids at Burning Man is a tradition, and there's Burning Man's 40 years old now, and
Right.
there are people who have grown up. I know people who were babies at Burning Man in the 27 years I've been doing it, that are now young adults, and they grew up
Yeah.
as part of the
Yeah.
community. And
There's a
Kidsville is a big thing.
documentary. Yeah, but there's a documentary that Profiles in Dust did called Kids at Burning Man. We screened it as part of our film festival. And some of the kids in that doc now actually have jobs at the org and run whole
Wow.
departments. Like they've
That's
grown
cool.
up within this. But my favorite scene, and it was like the first time I choked up, was when Zoe asked that young girl at Thunderdome what she learned from being a kid at Burning Man, and she said the lesson that she learned was to not care what other people think.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's great.
I
Well,
have to
I
say
don't
the kids that I met at Burning Man are some of the coolest, most well-adjusted,
Yeah, they are cool.
open-minded,
They are pretty
bright.
cool.
Yeah.
So then we begin to touch a little bit on what are some of the different things that are happening at these different camps. That there's talks, there's lectures, there's workshops, and we get a little cameo from Sam Altman of OpenAI, which was just another one of
Oh,
hey,
right.
you can learn about the very latest in AI from the people who are, destroying our world or whatever. They're here too. It's so cool.
It's so
it's
cool
really
that they
neat.
take time out of that to come
Out
and
of
talk
destroying
about
the
it.
planet. Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
And consolidating all of the world's wealth. It's wonderful
Yeah,
that they take the
yeah.
time to tell us about it here. But they start to dive into a story thread right after with Ray, and his intention to explore psychedelic therapy to treat his PTSD. And he meets with the gentleman whose name escapes me, who's one of the leaders
Doblin.
of Zendo.
Rick Doblin.
Rick Doblin.
Rick
right.
Doblin, thank you.
welcome.
And they have a really special moment where they're talking about, what the potential for, psychedelic
Right.
therapy is and
Right,
how it
right,
could
right,
potentially help him. And Ray, to his credit, is, he's back
down.
for a second year, and he feels like he has some unfinished business, and he's all in, and he's totally down.
There's a lot of vets from various different wars veterans who have found Burning Man. And there's a lot. I've run into a lot of different soldiers, and what they find is a sense of belonging, but they also find this free roam space for healing. Like you can come and get the healing that you need. And to sit there and listen to Rick explain like what MDMA therapies are doing for the research and how they've been helping people with PTSD and to hear Ray just be like, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What time is that happening? I think I'm 3 later.
But then, according to the series, he didn't get to do it because of the rain.
Yeah, the mud, the rain.
I hope that he finally actually got to do it, because we have 24 and 25. So hopefully he came back for another year and did actually get to do that.
We'll never know.
Well, then we can back up.
We could ask him. We could bring him on the show and actually ask him.
We could have Ray in the Lindsay seat one time.
He's so sweet.
Ray.
There's one shot of you
together.
Uh-huh.
There's a shot of them standing next to each other.
So then we meet, we check back in again with Level, who's the head of camp placement. And Level's got a personal journey, because we learned that Level lost his partner, I believe his husband, some years ago to cancer. And so we're starting to weave the purpose and the meaning and the social function that the temple plays. It's obviously an ongoing story, but we check back in with that through Level, and he has his moments out there.
Which I couldn't imagine, like, he lost his husband and Larry in the same year.
Yeah.
That was rough. That's rough.
Rough.
So that sets us up for how the temple will play out, and we're certainly going to, come check back in a little bit with Lindsay about that. But before we do, storm is coming. Ooh, the storm is coming. We're actually back at the Zendo camp, and it's a very mindful, very peaceful
I didn't know.
scene.
Yeah, I didn't. That was a cool scene to watch. That it was literally the moment that the storm was hitting was during like a guided meditation at Zendo, and they happened to catch that.
Yeah, talk about just like a total like chill, harsh and mellow of this vibe at that camp. But it was very dramatic and very effective.
Get out of here right now.
It's like, all right, hippies, get the frick up. You got to get out.
The structure's collapsing. Get out.
Get out.
And so now we see this sort of whip around montage of people preparing for the rains, not knowing what to expect.
Well, and my mother had died in 2022, so 2023 was
you brought your temple offering.
I brought my temple offering. You brought your temple offering, and I wasn't gonna leave until that temple burned. So I was determined to stay.
Man.
Yeah. Well, we do see folks preparing. We see the first wave of intense rain kind of the next morning. Folks are kind of coming out of their RVs, coming out of their tents, looking a little stunned. And then there's a beautiful double rainbow. Yeah. Just a big, gorgeous rainbow. But just,
I don't know.
It's science, Doug. It's science.
Okay.
Well, there was an interesting soundbite in at this point in the episode where they said that it was something like 2 to 3 months of average rainfall. Down in that night.
In one day.
In one day, yeah.
That was
and
wild.
We actually see
whole ship pod filled with water.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, that's exactly where we go next. Is we see your ship pod. And, yep. And you and Harper are kind of figuring out how to get
the water out of the
shade.
The shade structures. Then before it fully collapsed. That was that was not me and Justin were our ship pods were right next to each other, and Harper's tent was right across. That was a fucking disaster, like water wise. I mean, I ended up having fun.
everywhere.
Obviously, we all made the most of it. Like, you're there. What else? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? You might as well just have fun.
I love that
Yeah, so-
Harper had those plastic drawers, like the dresser with the plastic drawers.
Yeah.
But she would put a drawer down and then step into it, and then put another one down and step into that one, and
Yeah.
then pick up the one behind her and set it
Yeah,
down.
the plastic
And that's how
bin.
she walked to the port out.
Yeah, the mud didn't stick to the plastic. It was like
Yeah.
slippery or whatever. And I found, man, should we talk about the mud boots situation?
A mud boot.
That-
Oh, sure,
all the-
absolutely.
all the
And
inventions.
it's impossible to understand unless you have it
Yeah.
explained to you. You can't. Yeah, it's wild.
By like the last day or like when it was still muddy, I had finally figured out the best method without having like bags inflating on your feet as you walk and like then popping and filling up. I did plastic, sock, plastic, and then I fully like wrapped my entire foot in duct tape. So it was like formed to my foot. It wasn't like in a bag that would fill with water and shit as you walk. And it didn't stick to the duct tape. Like the mud didn't stick to the duct tape. It slid right off. There's one like split second, and you can't even really tell it's me, just a B-roll shot. And I'm skipping. Ian's with me on his ukulele, but like we're tiny figures far in the distance, and it's like a shot of playa. And I'm like skipping along through the mud, having a great time. Because once I got that method down, and my feet weren't like bogged down with like big ass bags or like whatever, I was fucking zooming. I was like frolicking, spinning, like going nuts out there. It was so fun.
Yeah,
It was so much
it
fun.
is
I love
really
the
like
Whitebird.
it really is like wet cement. The playa dust, that fine alkaline dust that when it gets wet, and if you just step in with like a boot and you pull the boot out, there's like 6 inches.
Oh
like,
yeah,
no joke. Like it's 6 inches of mud that you can't shake off. That it's ridiculous.
And every
It's,
step you take, it adds another layer and another layer.
Yeah.
Like you'll end up with just platforms by.
It is a great glute workout.
So nobody,
I
I
thought so.
remember at this
The
point,
Porter
nobody
Company.
knew how long this was going to go on for. Like that was
Yeah.
like probably the scariest point. It's like if
Yeah.
we knew concrete, like, okay, it's gonna rain a little bit more from this time to this time, and then it'll be gone. But we just didn't know, and
Yeah.
it just it
Then there was
looked
a
like
National Guard.
this could go on
rumors that
for
are gonna be
oh my goodness,
The
yeah. So
dropping
Ebola
food.
rumor.
Yeah.
yes. So Doug, this is kind of a question for you because you weren't there that year.
Right.
What did it look like on the outside? What did the media coverage look like to someone who wasn't at Burning Man?
They did give a sense of this in the documentary. I remember the media was going crazy. They just loved this kind of story.
They just they ate
anything
it up.
that shuts down the orgy dome is a big deal to the media.
So true.
The media is obsessed with the orgy dome. But what was so great was, I'll never forget this. I saw a clip from Fox News, who and they went to a reporter at Burning Man, and the reporter was a burner. And the reporter's like, it's not so bad. Like she actually downplayed it on Fox News.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone's getting along. It's fine. That Chris Rock
And
Diplo moment played huge all over the place, over and over.
Yeah,
Diplo and Chris Rock going, they're gonna eat they're gonna eat each other. I'm getting out of here. That kind of Chris Rock comedy.
But I mean,
one thing about burners though,
out.
you bring enough food for you and your camp
and everybody else,
and
to
so you don't have to
share.
resort to cannibalism.
Right. So
Yeah.
we were all very well stocked with food and supplies, and we pride ourselves as a community as being radically self-reliant and communal effort and sharing with others. So people that had their tents rained out and were filled with muddy water, they were getting invited into other people's RVs, and people hung out and just got a lot closer. Not great from a potential infectious disease spreading standpoint, but again, you're not doing a lot of interaction with other people. It's all very localized.
And I feel like the
Burners
time
did what burners do.
period.
They persevered, right? We all
Yeah,
persevered.
the time period when the rain happened and the supplies that we had, I think was just right. Had it continued raining for like 3-4 more days, and us
Oh,
getting
Would have
yeah.
been a
stuck there for
disaster.
like another 5 or 6, I
Well,
think,
again,
what they
the
were
Very
biggest problem
talking
lesser
being
about,
impact.
sanitation and for
sanitation
lack
would
of
have been a
porta
Everything.
problem,
potties.
Right.
water would have
It
been a
would have been a
problem.
national.
Yeah,
It would have been a national guard. And
So the
it would
media
have
go
been.
ahead.
Yeah,
But
so
it
the
wasn't.
media kind of explodes. Somebody died out there that year. We don't
That's
get a
right.
clear answer of
Yeah,
Had
we
where
still
she
nothing
don't
to do
died
with
know.
the rain.
from. Had nothing to do with the rain,
I
but it was
thought
a
it was
confluence of
they got
events, and
electrocuted, but
Nothing to
apparently
do with
that
the
was just a big
rain.
rumor.
it was all a big
Well,
rumor.
some
No,
got
But,
electrocuted
that was a
last
big
year in
rumor.
2025.
if it
Oh,
bleeds or dies, it
Last year that
leads.
did happen.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so the community
Bleeds not
comes
a surprise.
together to work their way out of the mud, and they begin striking. So everybody's like, as soon as we have a break, if they weren't able to preemptively strike, now everybody's doubling down and striking. And we also see some people just like trying to get out, despite the warning of please don't try
Yeah.
to move, and you will
Yeah.
make the playa worse for others.
There
But
was a there was if you try to drive out and your car gets stuck, they were gonna fine you like insane amount of thousands of dollars and then to get your car out on top of that. Like so
yeah.
your car was trapped there and the bill for getting it out was gonna be rather large. So it was a risk if you're gonna go for that.
We check back in with Marion. Marion is intent on trying to get the man to burn, I believe, on Sunday, because clearly the man wasn't going to burn on Saturday. And she gets a hard no from the powers that be on her staff, who kind of have that authority to say it's just not safe. She's eager, anxious, even to give the community that sense of closure, but just it's not going to happen, and she gets overruled. But the band does finally burn on Monday, and it looks beautiful out there. There's still tons of people there, and all the art cars are out there, and it looked like,
Hmm.
by all intents and purposes, a beautiful burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting though, because every time we've seen the man burn, even though it is Burning Man, and you think that is like the ultimate like event at Burning Man, it's really just a big fun fire. It's a big
Party.
burn. It's a big fun party, but it really is just one element of the whole
Another
experience.
5 minutes at Burning Man kind of thing.
It's a
Um,
yes,
25.
exactly.
we have that line in my dog. I think around this time we're seeing that Marion is dealing with the local authorities, the Homeland Security. There
Yeah,
she's got all these people wondering if she's going to pull some kind of like send the troops in moment, and she's
yeah.
under an insane amount of pressure. And her and Sergey are talking about like, we get buses in here. Like, what are we
And
going to do?
How do we do
And
it?
she
Yeah,
and
what does an
said,
and
why is
evacuation
she
Marnie
plan
held
look
the
like?
and
line?
Marnie Benson, who's the director of governmental affairs for Burning Man, like
Hmm.
she is on this call going, well, there's people showing up on this call that we've never seen before, Department of Defense, Homeland Security, stuff like that. And they've never had to talk to them before. But
Right.
Yeah. They were
it's
worried about civil unrest,
yeah,
So
everything,
up
all
until
the
this point
cannibalism
in this
allegations.
episode, we have only seen Lindsay in little bits and pieces, but now we check back in for sort of Lindsay's big scene of this episode, and Lindsay is preparing to take mementos of her mom and her other lost dog, um,
and
out to the
Yeah,
grandmother.
temple.
my
Can you
dream.
just can you just take us back into that moment for us, Lindsay, and kind of share with us what comes to your mind?
Yeah, that was I interestingly, I wasn't able to watch this episode Thursday because I was doing horse things. So I watched it a few days later, and I had multiple friends texting me and saying how emotional it was, and it made them cry, and it was so touching and all this stuff. So I knew it was going to be emotional, and I didn't. I mean, I remember that day specifically when I brought that stuff out there. And they were filming. Even just talking, I don't know. It's tough when you lose somebody that has such an important place in your life. And then talking about it again and sort of like reliving it while talking about it. It was, I don't know. It's pretty special that it is something that uh, I guess could be memorialized in that way.
Right.
And something that is really touching to me. My grandma, my mom's mom, Mima, the one that I don't know, the scene, it opens up on pictures of them. And my grandma, she was from a very, very small town in Texas, and never left that very, very small town in Texas. She was, I think I mentioned it in the doc, she had my mom when she was like 15, 16.
Oh, right.
So she, like, I don't even know if she went to middle school. Like it was a different time back then. So that was basically her whole life. But she always talked about how she loved movies. She loved movies and she loved film. She would always watch movies and stuff. And she always said that when she was a little girl and her whole life, she dreamed of being a big star in the Hollywood films. Fuck, now I'm getting choked up again. And so that scene, like opening on her face, like huge on
Right.
my screen.
Well,
But
here, Mima, you made HBO.
you made
That's
it,
what
Mima.
Yes.
Mima,
You
you
made
made
it
it.
on
I guess
HBO,
that's
Mima.
the
You're a
take home.
You made
star.
HBO.
You're a big
Here's Starman.
star.
Yeah, the temple really plays a very big role in this entire series.
Yeah.
For all the main characters, most of the main characters, and in all the years I've been going to Burning Man, the temple has always been something that was very beautiful, very touching, but I never really connected to it. But I lost my mom
Your
in
mom.
2020, and Athena lost her mom, and we all lost our moms within a period of that,
A couple years.
from
Yeah.
within a couple of years for the process that this whole series takes place in. It was very interesting, and so I got to have that experience for the first time out of the temple. I brought a picture, a collage picture of my mom and me and my brother, and it was and I got to really feel it, for the first time, and it was impactful. It really makes a big difference.
It really does. Like watching it, I had, I heard about the temple and the lore, and I knew it was like a beautiful thing, but then actually having the stuff you bring as a tribute, watching it burn, and then literally the temple is nothing but a pile of ash on the ground, and just thinking like everything there, like all of it is just returned like back into the universe, like back into the cosmos, the ether, whatever, really truly is way more impactful than I imagined it even would have been.
There was a little funny moment for me with kind of putting my mom into the temple, which is that my mom is someone who never would have been caught dead at Burning Man. She knew it was really important to me, but not her speed. So it was kind of fun. I'm like, "Ha, Mom, see, I got you to Burning Man."
Exactly.
Well, my mom came to Burning Man in 2014, so I actually got to experience Burning Man with my mom. And this is a woman that, for most of my Burning Man time, starting in 1999, it was like, oh, honey, I don't know. I don't know if that's a safe thing for you to do. You're going out with the heathens. You better be careful. There might be drugs. And I'm like, I hope there are. And then turn around to, really? Heathens? Oh, that's a club I want to join. So, and then in 2013, my father passed away. And my mom and I were, finally alone in the house I grew up in. And we were having that first meal, and the whole family had left, and it was just the two of us. And we're sitting there having dinner, and just out of the blue, she turns to me and goes, honey, I think I want to go to Burning Man. I'm like, what?
Wow.
What? Where'd that come from? She goes, well, I wouldn't have ever done it when your dad was around, but now that your dad is gone, not this year, but maybe next year, would that be possible? I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's possible. Not a problem. And so then in 2014, my mom came to Burning Man with me, and it rained that year too. Not as bad. But she loved it. She said it gave her hope for humanity. In fact, the scene where Marion talks about driving as far out as you possibly can, turning everything off, turning around and looking back at the city.
Yeah.
We had done that with this artist named Shrine. And one tear came down her face. And she said, I have hope.
Aww.
Well,
that's a special
what a lovely sentiment to end this on. Yeah. Well, and hopefully that's the experience that people watching this series have at the end of it.
I just want you guys to know that I will be happy to take any of you three to the temple.
Please do.
Should you expire before me.
I'm filing my formal request, Doug.
Yes.
And your pet, but not your pets. I think you should.
But not your
pets.
Oh man.
But by the way, I might wait for a few of you to pass away so I can just be more efficient.
Do it all at once.
But, yeah, just
do it
David. Yeah, we got one
do
more.
It in bulk.
Yeah. Yeah,
purple.
yeah.
Choose your photo now. I have
I'm
lots
sure.
of video of you guys that I'm already making your montage.
Well, that wraps up this episode. They leave us with kind of a lovely thought, quote from Larry, some thoughts about what Larry built, what his intention was, and that, feeling that like he had created this movement, with a million people, and the fact that this HBO series exists is evidence of the reach and the scope of this happening, this event, this cultural movement, and we get to see Playa Restoration, which for people who don't know, these are teams of volunteers who are there till the very end, and they walk literally arms lengths away from each other in giant lines, scouring the ground for the tiniest little bit of moop or matter out of place. And I thought it
I
was
do want to give a shout out.
leaving it blank and clean again, and it kind of leaves
Right.
on that, and that's the last shot.
I want to give a shout out to Marion and the shit she went through on this
Yes.
episode. I really think it's valuable for people to see the kind of pressure she's under and all the
Yeah,
stuff
you have
going
no
on.
idea.
Yeah, it's
And
not.
it's
She's not
really
just
an
out there
internal
Right,
partying.
right.
And I do think
and
she's a good leader, and I think
I
she's
think
got
so
the
too.
community's best interest at heart, and she
Yeah.
truly is the keeper of Larry's vision. I want
Well,
to I want to say,
that's a
by the
lovely
way,
thought.
thank you, Lindsay. Like the way that you opened up your heart on
Aw.
camera and allowed the world to see what it was you were going through and how Burning Man became a healing space for you.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage, and I want to thank you for sharing
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's very
Well,
tough
I'm
and
happy to
vulnerable
have
to
had
the
the
whole world.
opportunity. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's kind
But
of
I
fun.
mean,
So
a lot of people can relate. A
yeah,
lot of
for
people have
sure.
gone through a lot of stuff.
A
So
lot of
hopefully
people have.
it touches somebody out there and I don't know, does something
I
positive for the world.
exactly.
Yeah, and I'd
So
like to thank Doug and Athena, and I'll thank myself as well for
Thanks,
taking the time to come
Justin.
and do this, and to do this recap. And we just want to say thank you to our audience who is watching this. We hope you've enjoyed our ramblings, and please let us know in the comments if you'd like to see more. Our intention is to take this format here in
yeah,
BurnerSphere and open it up for broader discussions about Burning Man, about art, about what's coming up, about things that happen, and be able to sound off and stay current and share thoughts and insights. And we do have, I don't want to give anything away preemptively, but we do have some very special future guests, both from the Burning Man organization and from this documentary, who we will bring back on. And we'd like to hear what your questions are. So we will have ways to do that. If you like right now, let us know what more you'd like to see. Feel free to leave it in the comments. And please like and subscribe to this podcast on YouTube so that you can be sure to see those future episodes as we make them. And if you're listening to this on one of your favorite podcasting platforms, please subscribe that way as well. We really appreciate your time spending with us. And this has been a lot of fun. Let's do it again, shall we?
Should we grade the episode like we did the
Yes.
Oh
others?
yes, we should grade the episode, and then I think we just got to grade the whole the whole series. So yeah, no, this was another solid A for me, and I think that's how I went all the way through. And so I've said just a solid A all the way through for this entire series.
For me, this was an A plus. I loved this episode. I cried several
Hmm.
times. I laughed. I loved Muddy Man. So it was that. I still think we should have No Wheels Wednesday. Because I think it would be a lot of
Yes.
fun. I loved that nobody could drive anywhere and we were just
Yes.
like
It
walking
forced us to just
everywhere.
be in the moment,
Yeah.
not
I
zooming
love
around
That
from
that.
happened
one thing
last
to the
year.
I
next.
love that. But A plus on this episode. This was my favorite episode, and the whole series. They really nailed it, and I cannot say enough good things. I keep telling everyone that they should watch it. I run into people all the time because I'm constantly touring with the headsets and showing people BurnerSphere and going to conferences and universities. And when I meet people that don't know anything about Burning Man, first thing I say now is, "Do you have HBO?
Yeah.
You should see this
Yeah.
documentary. You should watch this documentary on HBO." So I'm A plus.
Excellent.
Amazing. I had low expectations for this one. For this
The episode
documentary,
or
I
the
think it came
series?
out bet. It kind of came out better than I thought it was going to.
Mhm.
I was worried it was going to be a little too reality TV, but I definitely give it an A. It pulled it out. The first episode I was a little shaky, but I think I'm
It all
pretty
came
happy
together.
with Jimbo.
Yeah,
What
agreed.
about you being in it?
Yeah, I think they did a really great job. I've mentioned in previous episodes, I had no idea what they were using because of all of the,
Yeah.
the different moments and times that they had filmed with me. And I think they did a really great job of capturing sort of my journey and where I was during COVID, just being so like at home by myself, like, and then finding VR and finding all of you guys and that leading me to Playa and like having the time of my freaking life and doing, crazy stuff. And then it culminating in that the big sort of the thing for me, the temple burn kind of brings it back full circle of first episode I'm crying about my dead mom and the last episode I'm crying about my dead mom. But
Yeah.
in like
Right,
more
right,
of a, it was a journey and I think they captured it really well.
Well, you had a place
So
to land that grief.
yeah.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
that was very important. I think that there was a sort of a
Yeah.
closure mechanism that the temple gives you. So, um,
Yeah. So A plus.
so nice. All right.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thank
Well,
you,
that's some glowing
everybody. We're gonna wait.
glowing scores. Yeah.
No
Well, thanks
Rotten
everybody.
Tomatoes here.
No Rotten Tomatoes here.
Fresh
We will
ones.
see you soon.
Fresh
Head to
factor.
BurnerSphere.com. Come join us. Come check it out because what's in the documentary is obviously just the tip of the iceberg. So many interesting
Yeah.
experiences, beautiful art pieces that have been captured, immersive documentaries with artists behind it. If you've been intrigued by Burning Man through this series, we invite you to dive deeper right here in BurnerSphere. And of course, there's no ultimate substitution for getting out there. So get your ticket and we'll see
The
you at
man
Burning Man.
burns in 37 days.
There you
Something
go.
Yeah,
like
man burns in 37 days.
that.
Maybe we'll do
Bye,
an
guys.
episode from Playa.
Oh yeah.